Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Burak, Managing Director at Accenture. So I'm one of the lucky people that I had the chance to work at a MES vendor and afterwards at a pharmaceutical company and also at a system integrator. I'm here with Jordi. So he's from Sandoz. He is the Global Senior Project Manager. So we are going to be doing the presentation together to you. So we'll be talking about the MES migration as a catalyst. So you might be considering that as a very technical project, but in reality it wasn't. It was more a functional project. We are going to get into the details later. And also, when you talk about migration in the pharmaceutical business, you might thinking of, especially in the MES, you might thinking of migration of an MES system from an older version to the newer version. But apparently it's not. It's like a greenfield approach where you are migrating a MES system from a legacy company to a brand new Sandoz company. So we are going to get into the details together. So the agenda is as follows. Before I start, let me start my clock so that I don't go over time. So agenda, we'll talk about the scope and content. So Jordi is going to cover this part as well as the challenges. We are going to co-share the challenges. And later on, we are going to share the lessons learned from this migration and this functional project. In fact, it's not only a migration project. You can consider any project you might be considering when you do an acquisition and we are transitioning from one company to another one. And later on, we are going to show you the summary and what are the takeaways. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Jordi for the next few slides.
Thank you, Burak. Thank you for the introduction. So, less than 2 years ago, we had the opportunity to be part of the spin-off of Sandoz company. So, this means that the objective to be independent for the business and full independence for IT. So, we need to manage from the MES the full separation between these two companies. And yes, for the bad luck of us, we need to also separate the MES systems. But jokes aside, from MES, the partner was a big challenge because we had to migrate all MES productive systems in a short period of time. So less than 2 years, we need to migrate all the MES systems from development, quality, and production system, also the disaster recovery systems. And as you probably know, we must to follow all the GXP rules, validation, installation IQs, OQs, migrate all the existing validation from one company to other company, all the tests that we did in the past, also we need to store in the new documentum systems. So the scope was clear from the beginning. So we have 4 different sites to migrate and 1 global GMT instance. Just some numbers. Global GMT, we have development and quality environment. And for the rest, we have development, quality, production, and also the DR production environments. More or less 18 active systems to migrate in different sites around the globe, different site locations, different timelines, time zones, and this is an extra challenge, as you can imagine. So, and after analyze some different options to run this project and some technical blocks, we decide to migrate the DB servers from one company to another company, the entire database with the existing database, and create from scratch the application servers installations. So we had to install from zero the applications, run the IQs, validate it, and then move the data completely from one company to another company. This is not easy task because you need to jump a lot of firewalls, a lot of process, and it's not an easy task. And all of this with a GXP environment, yes, following the GAM rules and these type of things. So this approach, we think that this was the faster approach and less risk because we can have a lot of pre-work before jumping the production environment. So we had time to prepare the development, quality environments, create all the IQs, LQs, install the production environment, and then switch off during a weekend, more or less. So, and in addition, interfaces. So this is also a big topic that probably we missed something and we had to work a lot because the interfaces, it's not only moving some IPs. So you need to reconfigure, you need to test it, qualify it. And sometimes we had some interfaces that the applications in the other side was not already migrated. And others, yes, but if in some cases like SAP, ERP, we need to create a cross-company interface. We name it cross-company interface to open firewalls from our company Sandoz to the Novartis company. Okay, so this was a huge task. And then when these applications were migrated, move it again to the outcome interface, like labeling also and warehouse. Okay, so during the project, we faced different challenges that we divided into three. General challenges, infrastructure, and validation. From general, as you can imagine, this group contains the governance. So it's very important, the governance of this type of projects, because it was a completely new organization, new departments from scratch, new processes to request servers, to request VLANs, and it's not an easy task to try to find the correct group, the correct persons to help us during this project. Also, the short time that we need to deploy, we found it in different phases, in different sites. Probably one site in Europe, it was from development environment migration. Another, it was on the production migration stage. So this is not, it's not was possible to go as a waterfall, one side, migrate one side, then another one, and then another one. So we need to make it in parallel, different phases, and this is at another extra effort for all the team, technical team, validation team, also governance team. And from infra, what to say from infra? So I think it's the core. So if you don't have infrastructure, you cannot do nothing. So, sorry. Exactly. So we need to learn how to request VLANs. What is the strategy from the new IT, global IT? Is there to maintain the VLANs range, or is to create a new ones? Also, the servers, it's possible to move the servers. Was not possible. We need to create from zero and install from zero the servers, as we did. And also the architecture blueprints, it's a big challenge because it's completely new. The documentum, the way to write or draw the architecture blueprints, and these types of things. Also, subnets, changing the workstations, it's also a big important topic because we are becoming from a Novartis VLAN range, and we need to move all the infrastructure or the VLANs to the new system. So this is a big impact because maybe in one side you have hundreds of workstations distributed around the show floor. And DR approach, also the DR approach, the disaster recovery approach in this new company, it is to have a central disaster recovery data center, place it in Europe for the entire systems. You need to explain to the rest of the sites that their new data center, it's placed in another data center, not in the existing one. And for validation, I think that it's too much for me, so I will pass the word for you.
So maybe one thing which is important is about the parallel infrastructure projects. So I wish MES would be the only application that is being migrated. And everybody's, application is important for them. So there were other applications, application managers, application projects where they also would like to migrate their, applications to the new system. And everybody is pushing the infrastructure team. Please do me a favor, prioritize me, do me a favor, prioritize me. That's been also a very big challenge for us to get along with the other, parallel projects. On the validation, consider a company who has been active for 50 years, and consider a company who has been collecting and storing documents in the last years, too many documents. And you need to move these documents from one document management system to another document management. This is a very big challenge. And you are not also able to take all the documents from one to another because these other companies, documents, you cannot do that. Second thing is about the validation approach. The company, you already gave the name, so I can give it, Novartis. Novartis is a patented company, so they are innovative company. Sandoz is a generics company and a biosimilar company. The approaches are also not same for both of them because Sandoz has the big volumes of productions and Novartis has a different setup. So that's the reason validation approach is also different. So we also need to take care of the Novartis approach as well as the Sandoz approach and as well as the template. So just consider the project. You are working on one template at Sandoz sites, another template, maybe for the same reason. For setting up a firewall, you have a different template. On the other hand, you have another template. So you also need to follow all these challenges. And it's about the tight duration. You gave the 2 years, but in fact, in reality, it was much close. So you need to stick to the plan, and you need to keep the pressure on the quality and the business team so that they align on the test strategy and also the approval cycles. So afterwards, what we did to overcome these challenges, first of all, as I said at the beginning, this is a functional project to me. I don't see it as a technical project. So governance is the key. So that's the thing which glued all the partners together. I have counted, you have given 18 different connections. We have worked more than 20 different organizations. When I say organization, it is the infrastructure organization, it's the document management system organization, it's a vendor we work with. There are too many vendors we have been working with. So, and we work with the local site, the global organization. So there is a huge governance work we need to take care. So what we did is what we have done, we have listed all the people who are working in this project. We have identified their managers. We have identified the escalation path where we can easily go and go after this person, and we can take his time. And escalation is very key. We have organized daily calls, syncs, so that we do not lose the track. Otherwise, you can easily lose your way in this project. It was very easy to lose your focus. And also cross company alignment. So you need to closely work with Novartis, Sandoz, and also with the other partner. That was a very crucial thing. Mm-hmm. And next one is about, let me go forward, success factors. Yeah. So Jordi told me, the way we were able to do it because, Accenture knew the old Novartis, legacy system as well as the Sandoz environment system. I think that's one of the big success factors that both systems at the same time. Second thing is I already counted this number of companies, organizations we work with, collaboration with the infrastructure organization, application management systems, hypercare teams, and infrastructure teams, quality teams. There were many teams we have worked with. And you have mentioned about these parallel projects. Mm-hmm. One side is at one stage, another one is at stage. That's also very difficult, which means there are multiple teams working simultaneously for different type of activities. So which means there are different people, more people you need to coordinate. For that reason, you need to have a very good structure of monitoring, controlling their activities. That's the reason we have, first of all, we didn't place that many of senior resources because we thought that we can do this with maybe not that senior project managers, but we realized that it requires much more attention. That's the reason we also had some escalations, as usual, at every project. So later on, we have assigned additional senior project managers, program leads to overcome these challenges. And dedication and overtime, I don't know if it is good or bad to talk about this, but it was also mentioned in the before the roundtable. So the downtimes are mainly at either weekends or at public holidays, which means that normally you shouldn't be working at this time. But in order to do this migration, upgrades, and etc., you need to do this. And it requires dedication from the project teams, dedication from the team, and they also need to do overtime. I know at the migration, our team didn't sleep for 48 hours, really, didn't sleep. because otherwise they need to make it very fast to make it on time. So that's the reason it requires dedication. And last thing, not last but not least, is the proper hypercare support. So you need to have a 24/7 support in order to react immediately if there is a problem at the production site. So with that, okay, let me go next. So lessons learned. So I'll cover the first few, then I'm going to hand over to Jordi again. Again, a solid project plan, it's very key. If you definitely need a very good project plan, and you need to stick to the plan. So it's the fundamental of the project manager. Stick to the plan, and if there's going to be deviation, push not to deviate. If there is, try to understand the reason and the consequences of it. And also, once you are a good project manager, you always need to be proactive. Proactive means think about the worst case scenario always. So what can happen? And if it happens, what I need to do? So if you consider this, all the time, you are a very good project manager. Be proactive. And I already talked about the governance, and I already talked about the overlappings of the projects, parallel projects at the same time. And Jordi also mentioned about the blueprints. So if we would have the blueprints earlier, that will be beneficial. Maybe you may consider a different IT team who can definitely focus team who can work on the architecture, has these architectures already, so that you can design and migrate it much more efficiently. So saying that, please proceed, Jordi.
As I said, from my infrastructure, probably we underestimated the infrastructure efforts because we assumed that they can deliver in a time. So, and probably in some cases we need to wait a lot to receive our infrastructure, balance creation, servers, and it's a waterfall project in that case. So you cannot go forward if you don't have the infrastructure in place, no? So this is the big effort that we need to deal, because in some places they deliver before, so we need to adjust sometimes. Okay, let's move to another side, because in this side we have already in place the architecture, or so we need to manage these things. So the lesson is to try to not underestimate these things. That
yes,
in this case,
exactly.
it's a very important topic. Also, the interface. Interface, if you don't have the interface with ERP, of course, you cannot run the production, but also this little interface that maybe you cannot see when you are not going deeper. So when you take it, the product, say, oh, in this place there are some specific interface, local interface. So this is also important to try to have this full picture before going
version
to the site.
compatibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Also, the communication is a key. So for this reason, we designed this escalation path. If in some moment we have some blocks, we have already defined the heads that we need to escalate and how to try to reduce and mitigate the risk to non-deliver at time and of course at cost. And also, as you said, Burak, the continuity of this resource. No, it's very important to have like a block these resources during the entire project, because in one side maybe you are migrating the DB, and the other side you are installing. They need to some people that run the IQs, and you need to have all the team during all this time. And I think and I know that it was a big effort for the team. Okay, and also, as you said, the weekend. So we decided to try to we agreed with the sites the shutdowns, and we placed these shutdowns for move the production during weekends, during vacations. But sometimes there are teams that are in vacations in the weekends. So the lessons learned is that you need to have a full calendar of your stakeholders and manage the global team also, and the installation team, validation team that you needs to be here in the weekend that you are moving the production.
Yeah, one addition, we also had some issues where, there was a public holiday in Turkey, public holiday in India, another public holiday at another country. So whenever you have this type of locations involved, there are some cases where different days there are public holidays. So that's the reason Jordi explained. We had work on a vacation plan or a public holiday plan, so to understand who is on vacation which date.
Yeah. It's not easy. Also in Spain, we are always in holiday, so.
Okay. If you're not on holiday, you're in siesta doing this.
Exactly. Okay. The outcomes, I think it's clear. The outcome needs to fit with the project scope. So we must migrate these 4 sites at a time before the TSA date that we agreed. Well, we don't agree, but we have to migrate at this time. Okay. And the scope is clear. I think that we arrived to a good outcome in that case. So we completed the transition before the TSA deadline. So I think that it's a big challenge, and we arrived to a good end because we did it. So we implemented. We go live the production sites, as we said, during weekends, Sundays or Monday mornings. So without major issues. So maybe we need to fine-tune some, in the virtual servers, increase the number of people that need to connect to the server, these type of little things, but the production continues working.
Yeah, we have done thousands of dry runs, official tests.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure that it's working, yes.
Exactly. And zero unplanned downtimes. This not means zero downtimes, but we agreed the downtimes, and so we achieve during these windows, production stock windows or maintenance windows, and we did it during that times. No? Also, the compliance and validations we followed during all the project, the GXP validation. So from opening this year until close this year in production. So we need to run all these things. Also, here there are one important topic that it's to migrate. I think that you said, but it's to migrate all these validation documents from Novartis to Sandoz with a different systems, different documents. Sorry, you need to move from one system to other in the cloud. So you need to request these 5-folder creations nowhere, then download it. So it's not an easy task to get the final validation of these things. So, and before start the production on Monday, you need to close all these things. If not, you cannot start. So I think that we arrived to a good project end. So thanks for the efforts.
So the last slide is about the summary and takeaway. So, we had a successful project. That's the reason we are, presenting as a success story right now. So takeaways is, as I told at the beginning, and I repeated many times, migration or acquisition projects or spin-off projects are not IT projects. This is really a functional business project. In fact, the infrastructure part is definitely done by the IT, but it is much more than that. Just consider that. And second thing is governance is very key. So you need to put a very clear and a strong governance organization with the escalation paths, with the power maps of the people. That's very crucial. And I always tell to our project managers, do not assume. Think about the worst case scenario, and it mainly happens. Murphy is always around, so it can happen. So just consider that. And I think that's also for us, for Accenture, that was a kind of a blueprint for the future rollouts that we were able to understand every corner of this spin-off migration project. So with that, we have come to the end of our presentation. Together, I would like to thank the Jordi again for his time, and we'll be happy to have some questions if any.